When Greg was diagnosed with metastatic disease and we were told he had 6 months to live, we were faced with the hardest time in our lives, and we knew we wanted to do everything we could to save his life. I knew I wanted to do everything I could that was in my power to save the love of my life. And when it became clear that we weren't going to be able to save his life, but we could perhaps extend his life and might have the opportunity to save the lives of other people, that became a real driving force for us. So with a rare disease like uveal melanoma, it can be hard for patients to find each other, and it can be hard for researchers and clinicians to really get a full grasp of what's happening in this disease and really understand the patient experience and patient preferences.
The local support groups are breast cancer support groups or lung cancer support groups, and nobody with the same kind of cancer. And it's not the same. It's not the same because I didn't have treatment options. I didn't have a group of other people to say, well, this is what it's like to navigate life with one eye. I felt very alone. I felt very, that there wasn't anyone around for me to really bounce ideas or what the next step should be, or if I make a misstep, what does that look like? The big moments for me are meeting the other patients and caregivers. Those are huge moments because you walk into the room and you don't have to explain yourself. I don't have to tell them what my journey looks like. I don't have to tell them what it felt like. They just understand.
One of the greatest things about CureOM is the ability as a researcher and clinician to have, direct networking and communication with patients.
They give important grounding for researchers, give researchers an opportunity to speak directly to patients and caregivers and hear directly back. And that's an important conversation to have, so that there's a bi-directional flow of information from the community to the bench and back again.
One of my most favorite things is, presenting new data at these patient meetings. It's one thing to present data to your peers, but when you get to present some positive results of a clinical trial or some new and interesting ways that we could treat the cancer to patients, it is really, really powerful.
Once we started noticing that there were a lot of patients diagnosed in a certain geographic area, at the Atlanta conference, Dr. Olaf actually said, we really need a registry.
It was clear to us when we were trying to do some epidemiology work that we were kind of missing important parts of understanding the disease. Where were they living? What were their lifestyles? We were all very excited that we've recently launched the Vision Registry, which is really a tool to help kind of gather a lot of this information so that we can look and hopefully better be able to help patients navigate through this, the treatment journey. Not only will the Vision Registry help researchers, we're also hoping that the Vision Registry acts as a tool to even bring patients together.
The Vision Registry is critically important because it gives an opportunity for patients to be involved in the field. From a researcher's perspective, it's very important because it will provide critical information about groups and cohorts of patients and might lead to insight in terms of what are the initiating factors, especially environmental factors.
So when I first started treating patients with uveal melanoma, there weren't many specific clinical trials for patients with uveal melanoma. Now, when I have conversations with patients who are newly diagnosed, certainly newly diagnosed with advanced disease, the conversation's really complex. There are at any given time 4, 5, 6, 7 potential treatment options. Again, the conversation's getting more complex, but it just goes to show how much more we know about uveal melanoma now and the different treatments that we're trying to explore. Now more than ever, the clinician, so the oncologist who's seeing patients in the clinic, the researcher who's in the lab, and the patients are working together really hand in hand to push this forward. And I think that's going to continue, and I think we're going to see really amazing things over the next 10 years.
Sarah and Greg brought together the researchers and the clinicians for the very first time, and that is big because they're everywhere. They're scattered all over the country, and not one person is going to cure this disease. And I feel like we have gained so much momentum to the point where we're going to find an adjuvant therapy. No longer are patients going to be diagnosed and not have that therapy that stops OM from progressing. We're going to get there.
So being at Curo and patient meetings today is always a little bittersweet for me because Greg's not there. It's also amazing to be able to hug people who have been here since the beginning and are doing wonderfully, and their health is good, and I know they'll be here for years to come. And my hope is that there are more patients like them at every meeting, and that patients are living longer and longer so that there aren't empty chairs at Thanksgiving dinners. And that's why we do this.
When you first get diagnosed, it just feels overwhelming. It's this big mountain in front of you and you don't know how to get to the other side. But then when you look and you see somebody who is on the other side, somebody who made it through year 1, made it through year 2, year 3, year 4, oh gosh, now we've got somebody who made it through year 10. That is hope, and that's what we need. We need to spread hope. We need for people to understand that you can live, you can thrive, you can live alongside OM.